but a voice behind the storylines and behind the players as far as the Vegas Line team is concerned. For those calling in, our line is 702-483-4444. And hopefully if you're listening right now, that means you have figured it out and you're listening live at www.vegasallnetradio.com. And if you don't have time, you're calling in or tell a friend if they missed a show, they can always check the podcast, which is available by late afternoon on Wednesday. And again, that's at vegasallnetradio.com. So, just to recap where we are, folks, this particular Wednesday on June 11th, this is the first show since the last NDPFL League meeting, which Jeff and I attended in California this past Sunday, the National Development Professional Football League. Good meeting, very productive, got a lot of things accomplished. The schedule is finally now signed, sealed, and delivered, and the dates that we previously had are now locked in. Disappointment, unfortunately, one of the founding members, the Southern California Bears out of National City, California, for unforeseen market forces, they have decided that they will not compete in the 2014 season, which is a pity. We'll certainly miss Dita Shimani and her input. She's a great lady. She runs a very good program. But there was some difficult things with family members and a recent fire down in Southern California. And she has decided, she's looked at it, everything in its entirety. She still absolutely wants to be part of the NDPFL going forward. She's clearly looking forward to the 2015 season. And Ditas, if you're listening, we'll certainly miss you for this year. We know your input is absolutely critical. And I'm sure that, we'll be speaking throughout the year. Because we always want to keep up with what the Bears are doing and what they're doing down in National City. Aside from that, it was the usual suspects were at the meeting. I don't want to make that sound cagey or anything like that, but this is one of the rare opportunities in terms of the league of football at this level, where we have come together as like-minded owners in the true sense of the word that we are running our individual teams as professional football organizations, a la the NFL. As it is the NFL for most of the players in this league, it is also the NFL in terms of the owners of this league. Jeff and I have no illusions. We're not going to be purchasing a franchise in the NFL ever.
Come on now, don't underestimate yourselves.
Well, I mean, I'm a realist too. I mean, actually, you got it. 2021.
Who doesn't have a spare billion?
Yeah. But we intend to run our organization as if we were an NFL franchise. That said, it's the key is professionalism. We are only as successful as the weakest link within our organization, either through staff or through the players themselves. So therefore, we cannot stress how important it is that we stress with the players that they must be professional at all times. They're representing the Lions. And you never know who you're going to talk to. You never know who you're going to run into. Somebody's going to want to know about what you're doing and what you're involved with. And it's a golden opportunity to put the best foot forward and put the best face forward as far as the Vegas Lions. We have, at any given time, not just a 53-man roster, but 53 salespeople who we want to actively be out there promoting Vegas Lions football. If you're not, really, it's a lost opportunity for us. It's for us as owners, for us as the staff members and coaches, and for you as players. We want butts in seats, folks. And by running an excellent professional minor league football organization, we aim to do it. So looking at the clock, we're at a little bit more than 5 minutes. Man, I wanted to try to get that in 2 minutes, and I'm already behind schedule. Because bizarre as it sounds,
talking like Barry White, it's that slow, deep voice you got rolling.
I could never get down to Barry's level. My man was macking it hard. Yeah, that's it. His music, I don't mind saying it, seal the deal every now and then. So Tommy, we're going to start out with you, my man. It's been a while since you've been in the studio.
It has been. It has been. I almost forgot where I was going.
Well, a lot has taken place since the last time you were here.
Yes.
With regard to where we were at with spring practice. To where we are at now. This is the second week of contact drills.
Yeah, and yesterday I got really excited. Last week I was a little discouraged for lack of better words. But then it's first week of hitting, so and I kind of have high expectations of things, and I like things going a certain way, and guys just weren't hitting like they were talking about, and but whatever happened over the weekend. Whatever the players talked to each other about, because I know they had a team meeting yesterday with just players. I'm glad for those guys that are stepping up and doing those things. But we had an offensive line yesterday. Offense was running nice and smooth. We're looking good. I got excited last night. It was nice.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And we talk at length, and we several times during the week, and in fact, we've got a staff meeting tonight. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that you've always shown us that we were really excited about it, why it was an easy decision to make you head coach, is that you had every intention of setting the bar high. Yeah. We're not going to lower it so somebody can just sort of climb over, and then we'll work with them, we'll rub their bellies and say, yeah, there, little fella. This is not Pop Warner, and it's damn sure not the Poop Butt League.
No, it's not. And it becomes difficult in this level of play because there's a lot of guys out there that just rely on their natural ability and don't work to get better. But I think we've got a group of guys now, our core guys, that really want to work hard and will work hard and will train on their own and do things that are needed to be done to make us not only a successful organization, but one of the top teams.
Yeah, well,
I'm excited to play the Blackhawks. I can't wait.
Same here. There's a tendency to sort of sometimes, duck successful and tough programs, particularly in the preseason. But Jeff and I were absolutely excited that you took on this task.
Oh, thank you.
And you didn't even hesitate to say that you were absolutely up for it.
I love the game to no end.
Yeah, and for the players themselves too. I think it's a sign of what we want to do as an organization. We're not going to get the ladies of St. Job to come in and pancake them 110 to nothing.
No, well and ultimately we want challenges. That's what makes you a better player, a better team, a better organization. If you're going out there and beating teams 70 to nothing, 60 to nothing, it doesn't challenge you. Not only as a team but as an individual. You got to set your own bar high to make yourself better and get yourself to a certain point.
Amen. Again, our call-in line is 702-483-4444. I think I missed. Yeah, I got them all in there.
Number 4.
All right, and we're going to absolutely kind of be bouncing around back and forth with you as individuals. So we're going to go with the old man sitting next to me. Devin,
the young
Scott. Yeah. All right. Devin, I don't want to ask you how old you are, but I suspect you might be as old as me. But I just want to, first of all, thank you very much for coming in.
Hey, no problem. I appreciate you actually putting me on the show. I didn't expect it.
Yeah, well, I see you're also flashing the bling there. I noticed that you've got face.
It's my championship ring from way back in the ancient days of 2004.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I don't know if you can remember. I don't know if anybody can remember that far back.
I played in '92, man.
I think Red Grange. Red Grange was on that team.
Well, my last year I played was 1975 in high school as a senior. So.
Football is not really
helmets and all that kind of stuff.
Size, race, age. It's about skill and heart. Football is a war game. But to me, I believe, it's more spiritual. My whole life I was told I couldn't do it. I couldn't play from when I started out with the Headbangers as a young child. When we won the city and state championship with ease. Didn't have a high school team because my school couldn't afford it.
Wow.
So we went with local, grassroots, church-based football. And we played every single borough of the city. And I made it all the way to Syracuse University, and I made it to the practice squad.
So you got the colors on it then.
Yeah, I got to represent my alma mater.
Did you play with Jim Brown? Just kidding. What was he like back then?
He was pretty cool. But I didn't really start there. I was just on the practice squad, and then I went to semi-pro. But I'm like, my whole life I was always told, you not good enough, not fast enough, not strong enough. You get the intimidation. Nowadays everybody wants to say, people that aren't black per se aren't athletic, are supposed to be wimpy and take the background. But I'm trying to
Is that what's going on
erase the stereotypes. They want to intimidate us out the game. This is all of our sport. It's not a racial thing. I mean, it has to be stated because those myths have to be shut down.
Well, let's
like I'm not
back
going
up
to
a
be
little
back
bit.
down.
Let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about, where did you go to high school at? First of all, where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in New York City, Queens, New York.
Queens.
Yeah.
Holy cow! What part of Queens?
Hollis,
All right.
like where Run DMC's from. 191st Street, Woodall. Name rank cereal.
So you grew up in New York,
Yeah.
and so what was the high school that you went to? 'Cause you just
I went to
mentioned that
Jamaica
they
High
didn't-
School,
they
but
didn't have
like
a
New
football
York City
program.
public schools were very poor. Back in the the Middle Ages when I grew up, and now actually we didn't have the funding for football, so we had to fund our own football. We had to buy our own uniforms, our own helmets. The church groups did most of the community stuff like football, baseball. Like it was all based like more family and church, and not just like the public schools, because the city of New York only funded the books, and we had to buy everything else. So
You know, that's so bizarre. I mean, I grew up in California, and in California, high school football is king.
yeah,
And there's an extraordinary amount of high school programs in terms of the level of football, but it's just almost, you instinctively think that if it's a high school, therefore they have football. Now, granted, there's a lot of schools that play 8-man football in California just simply because of the size of the school, but there's always a football program. So for you to say there's simply a high school and they just really couldn't afford, and they basically had to rely on
hey, some of the New York leagues, the semi-pro New York, we had to play Ironman football. We only had 11 players. Like we only traveled with 12 players sometimes, because most of the players couldn't even travel. They couldn't afford the plane tickets or the bus. So we had to go Ironman both sides of the ball. Where the quarterback was the safety and the linemen were both lines. I mean, it was that deep, and we still won. We still won games, believe it or not. A lot of the
So
teams in
if-
Brooklyn and upstate New York are the same way.
So basically, when that game was going to start, was it like first 12, 14 guys got there, got uniforms and helmets?
It was like anybody who wasn't broken up, they could get to the game.
That is
Anybody that can
serious.
afford the marker on the t-shirt.
That is serious football.
I
That's
swear,
scary.
well, you got
That
like
is
a whole bunch of
scary.
different helmets. It was that unorganized, but we came to play and we took our lumps, but we came out there like men and we fought. We bled.
I moved back to New York, and I lived in New Jersey, commuted into Manhattan for about 4 years.
Oh, what part?
I lived in New Brunswick.
Oh,
Actually, I lived in Franklin Township, just outside of New Brunswick.
I know where that
Not
is.
too far from Rutgers University.
Yeah, I got a family in Red Bank.
Oh, okay. And but I would get occasionally to some of the New Jersey football games because a couple of my neighbors had young guys who were playing. But it was as it is. I mean, it's absolutely huge. Friday night lights.
Yeah.
And,
See, New Jersey and New York is like a different
They're like
place.
different planets.
Like, yeah, it's like New York is like it's like an encasement. Like most of the city, the 5 boroughs, and upstate New York and New Jersey. It's like all the rich people live in New Jersey and upstate and Long Island, Montauk. And like the regular middle class and blue collar workers live in the city, but most of them don't actually work
Queens,
in.
Brooklyn,
Yeah, they don't work
Bronx.
in Manhattan. They work in the outskirts of the city, like in the small businesses. So, it's like the have and have nots. And like you'll see the teams from New Jersey will have 100 players. Come in a professional bus, chartered. We coming in our own car.
Look like the North Korean
Pushing the car.
Sharing helmets where you got to, we had teams where we had to actually, I had to take my uniform off in mid plays and give it to another guy, give my helmet to this guy.
That's crazy.
And that's we still came to. That's how much we love the game, though. I mean, it's
But you're right.
dedication.
What that will do, though, is what doesn't kill you makes you stronger at the end of the day. And sometimes I guess for young guys who are working within a system, and I'm liking it here. Let's face it, the guys that go to Bishop Gorman, come on, they really don't know what real high school football is like.
Yeah.
They're basically operating like a D1 college, a rich D1 college.
Yeah, very.
Yeah. So, for them, I don't think they really have a clue as to what high school football normally looks like and feels like at the end of the day. They're kind of and this is no knock on them because clearly they have the money and the donations and the charitable dollars coming in there. But it certainly makes it sort of eschews what real high school football is here locally in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
All right, so you managed to get your way out of Brooklyn and 11-man football. And you mentioned Syracuse.
Yeah.
So when did you hit Syracuse?
Well, when I got to Syracuse, I actually I was so brainwashed. I was so into the game. I thought that I could just go straight to the NFL. And I was I actually went to the practice. Like they had there's this course called the practice squad where you get to actually walk on for the team. They have like a whole practice squad process where you go in, you do time trials, you get to play against the actual starters that were recruited, and the coaches time you and they see if you're ready. So I went into the process, and I actually beat the fastest receiver at the time, and I went straight to the coach, and I was like, with the other coach, I was like, I just beat the fastest receiver, the guy you recruited out of Texas. I was like, that should guarantee me a slot. And then he took me to the side. He was like, listen, son, I don't want you to get, your hopes up too high because, we only can play the people that we recruit here. I'm like, we have to, we have like constituents that put in money. And even if you're a better player, we have to actually play the people that we recruited. But I was like, and that really crushed me. And I'm like, for a while, I actually hated the game because I figured that it was like politics keeping me out of it. That's like saying if you knocked out the heavyweight champion of the world and you're not the champ, it didn't make sense to me. So after that, I'm like, I tried to make it. I went to the first minor league football program I could find, which was the Westchester Steelers and the Brooklyn Seminoles. And then I started for them. We didn't win too many games on the Seminoles. Then I went to the Steelers where we were, a little more funding. It was a little better. It was the Ironman football thing. Then I finally found the team that I loved, the New York Panthers, that actually won me the championship in the NAFL.
Okay, we're going to pick up on that right after the break. Because clearly this is something obviously we want to know. Because this is our opportunity to know more about the players. Sometimes we learn something new that we had no idea about. And this is getting interesting. So we'll be back in just a second. You're listening to the Vegas Lions Weekly Radio Show on Vegas. AllNetRadio.com. Welcome to the Pride.